Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Iowa soccer supporters. I'm Ben Brackett here with my good buddy and co-host, Blake Sievers. Siebes, what's up?
Hey, Ben. Not a whole lot. Just another snow day.
Another day, another snow day, right? They just keep coming. Record snowfalls in the state of Iowa in January. And I guess probably February coming up too. We'll have to check back with our meteorology guy at some point here soon, won't we?
That's right. So yeah, we got a big cool guest, a long time friend of the pod, Courtney Crandell.
Yeah, should be fun. She's a unique one, probably what I would consider a bit of a pioneer for young women in the game. I think when you talk about like her and Liza Barber and Nikki Thaden, some of those early 80 birth years, they really set the stage for some of these other young ladies that have come up in the past. You talk about like a Whitney Sharp or a Meg Brandt. They probably exist, but maybe don't have quite the same opportunity.
Yeah. What a player, what a person, Courtney. It's always fun kind of catching up and learn. You always learn a little bit more after you talk to them for a while.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool journey, unique journey. And, one of like the few probably like pure goal scorers on either side, men's, women's, whatever, boys, girls. Like if you could name them, well, somebody probably would say Matt Nickel, but I bet you Courtney scoring more goals than Matt.
I mean, as a freshman scoring 20 some goals, like, or 20, whatever that number is, that's unbelievable. That's awesome. So,
yeah, well, prolific goal scorer, Courtney Crandell, let's chat with her. Okay. Welcome Courtney Crandell to the pod. Courtney, what's up?
How are you guys?
Great.
We're good.
Good.
I love see.
Ben, I love how at the beginning of every podcast, we always talk to the person and it's always the same, like cheesy intro of, hey.
It is. Well, what should we come up with something new?
I don't know. It's just interesting.
Well,
what do you think, Courtney?
To be like, hey guys, how's it going? When I already asked you guys that.
I know. That's
true.
Yeah.
Well, so one thing we've talked about is just like literally as soon as we were on, you just press record. We couldn't have done that, and you could have caught all that other stuff we talked about ahead of time.
Well, you have to let me know because my mouth gets a little bit.
We can put an explicit rating on this. We'll put an explicit rating on it.
Okay, I'm really gonna work at it. I promise.
Well, it sounds like you probably haven't listened to our show much if you don't know that occasionally there's some swear words. But that's okay. I guess that's where I probably turn it over to you, right, Blake? Because it doesn't sound like she's listened.
Have you listened to any of them, Courtney?
So I listened to Nikki Thaden's, one of my favorite people. Listened to a little bit of Matt Kennedy's this morning. I was looking up the Kick It Forward. I was on just the podcast this morning and I saw his. I didn't even know you guys did one with him. So I was really excited. So I got to listen to a little bit of that. And other than that, I just a little bits and pieces of others. So
that was a no. That was a no.
Yeah.
No, that's not a no. That is I listened to a little bit of Billy Scott's. His is just very entertaining. I didn't get through too much of it. No, I love that guy to death. I was driving and just craziness. So, but yeah, I've listened to a couple of them.
All right. So we start off every podcast with the same question. First question. And is this the first pod you've ever been on?
Yes. You couldn't have even told me what a podcast was about a year ago. Because just didn't really, I don't know. I feel old. But my friend got me into this crime podcast, and that was the first one that I've ever heard of. I didn't even know what one was. So,
ooh, which crime podcast?
You what?
Which crime podcast?
It was the one with the high schooler that didn't remember what he did on a certain day.
Serial.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, that's a good one. Have you listened to that, Blake?
I haven't.
It's worth your time. It really is.
He's not quite as cultured as we are, apparently.
I guess
Courtney.
not.
I don't know if I considered myself cultured, especially in the podcast world.
Fair enough. Well, we're really happy that you came on to chat with us today. It's too bad that you're, in another time zone, but fair enough.
No, I appreciate you guys having me. This is very humbling, to be honest.
Oh, well, crap. Why don't you, so like what we like to start with usually is to have our guests kind of give us their like kind of soccer pathway and just kind of talk about how you got into soccer and where it took you, and kind of bring us to present day, and then we'll kind of grill you probably.
Oh, great. So I got into soccer because both of my brothers played. So I was always watching soccer. I was on the soccer field Saturday, Sunday, all day long. So without them playing, I don't know if I would have or not.
And Chad and Josh are like sort of well-known commodities.
They are. Yeah, they definitely are. Chad's out in North Carolina, where he played professionally for like maybe 9 or 10 years. And Josh is still in Des Moines, and he had a big business out in West Des Moines, some shipping company. So he is well known, both probably on and off the field. So
I didn't know he was still in town.
Mm-hmm.
So that shows I'm doing my actual job well, doesn't it? Seriously.
Yeah.
What's your actual job then?
I do real estate, commercial real estate.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. So like I should probably know what Josh is up to, but that's all right. So what's so
Josh,
so you started because of that.
Be expecting
a
phone call soon.
Exactly.
That's fine. Yeah, I'll let him know.
So, and you're the youngest of all of those boys.
I am, yeah. Josh is, I think Josh is 6 years older than me, and Chad might be 9 years older.
So you're the baby, and God. So you never would have like played with them.
Never. Nope. I tried. I did everything I could to try to when I was probably 4, 5, 6, 7, but no.
Ben, do you remember playing with Chad?
For the Menace?
Yeah.
Play with him?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Briefly. I mean, I was a bench warmer.
I don't buy it.
That was like early, like probably hit like early days for us though, our age.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. He was a veteran for sure.
Yeah, the Wiley vet.
Yeah.
So you grew up watching it, like all the time. And when did you start playing? How old were you?
Oh man. I played Soccer West, I think probably U7, U6, U7. And it was like that when Soccer West was all like neighborhood, like you're in a certain neighborhood, you're on this team. And
right. So you were down at Aliber.
Down at Aliber. Yeah. And I did that until probably what do you do that you rec? U9, U10?
11. U10, 11. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I went to Iowa United and played on a year up, and I play on that boys team. Oh my gosh, I'm going to struggle with
who is this with? Because this is where I think this is when I started to become aware of you, because I remember, because I played for Iowa United when I'm a year younger than you, maybe 2 years younger.
Yes.
Did you play like Scott Newman and like Adam Williams and?
Oh, so I was a year older. I played a year up.
Okay.
So it would have been like Joe Hand.
Like Joe and Tiger, or not Teddy Nieders.
Teddy, yeah. So I was a year older.
I played with those guys when they were then U19.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Yeah, that was a pretty fun team to be a part of. Some wild boys on that team.
Yes, absolutely. But then Iowa United made some rule that I couldn't play up and I couldn't play on a boys team. And so I moved to Urbandale. And that's when I started on the Urbandale Raiders, which then turned into Urbandale Freedom. And
yeah, that's one of those things. That's a big shout. I don't know. I've never heard that one before. The Raiders.
The Raiders was, they were young. I was probably part of the Raiders for maybe a year, and then we turned into Freedom.
So what's interesting to me is that obviously Blake and I know you. I would guess a lot of the people that are like, you know, that haven't heard of you before necessarily, some of these like newer young kids these days, they wouldn't even be able to fathom the fact that you played like boys soccer a year. Well, no, at your age, boys soccer till what? You were like 18, 19?
Yeah, I did that until I graduated high school. But I also, for recruiting purposes, I played for that North Carolina team.
That's right. I remember that.
Yeah. So I could be seen by, because, you know, you'd send these recruiting letters just because, I mean, I was looking for anybody to come out and look and watch, and they wouldn't do it because no one wants to go to a game and watch one person. They want to watch 40. And so they just wouldn't come out. So I went a different route.
That's an interesting tidbit. I didn't even think of that. Like when you're trying to go get seen by college coaches, female coaches, they're not wanting to go watch a boys team because they have no interest in any of the players.
None. Yep. So I would send emails and send letters, and there weren't even emails back then. You sent literal letters.
Right.
I know, hating myself. And
do you remember the book?
Yes.
We've talked about the book. We've talked about the book a few times, and like how you would just like pass it around.
Yep.
Nobody wanted to own the book because it was expensive.
Well, I worked with Ramona Barber as well, and again, that woman was a saint when it came to recruiting, just because she helped so many people do it. So yeah, that was tough.
Well, so just because I know there's at least one listener out there that was a member of the Freedom team that requested that they're like, what are you guys, like, who are you interviewing? Why are you not interviewing Courtney Crandell? It's like, that's a really good point.
Can I ask who that was?
Well, not yet. You want to just tell us a little bit about who you played with?
Don't reveal your source, Ben.
Yeah, I will tell you, but eventually. But like,
eventually
talk about
on this podcast or like down the road?
We'll see. Depends on if you're a good interviewer or not. No, seriously though, talk about some of those guys that you played with back then that were like, because you were still one of the top guys or players, on the team. Like that's what I always remember is like when I would go, because the Freedom was like the super team, and you were you guys were a year older than like Blake and I, and I just remember like, you know, never ever getting a point off, like never being able to beat you guys, just getting crushed every time, and you were always like the one sticking the dagger in. It was like, wow, it was pretty tough.
That's nice of you to say. I think you're being a little bit, I think you're praising probably the wrong person, but that was, gosh, there was a lot of consistent players on that team that were on it for all 8 or 9 years. And then we started just adding new players as the team went. So it was a lot of the first, you know, players, young players, both of that, Andrew and Jacob Best, Scott Pearson, like Eric Cameron. There just a lot of those people that started even with Urbandale Raiders. And then you had like Richie Hurd join. And then you had Adam Williams. And then you had...
He started poaching all the Iowa United boys. Chase Winkie.
He never played for us, did he?
Oh, no. He stayed loyal. He to United.
Ames, wasn't he?
Yeah, but he stayed loyal to Iowa United for a while. And then he was like, no, I'm going to go back to Ames.
Oh. Yeah.
But yeah, so
by
what
the way,
about
greatest club team ever to play Iowa soccer?
Yeah, do you think?
Who?
Freedom.
Really?
I'm
do you
asking.
think?
Oh, I don't know. I would say maybe the most consistent. I guess we were consistently good. We won state cups.
Like every year.
Every year there was one in there that we've got beat by Ames. They would pack in the 18-yard box, and it was one of the most frustrating games that we knew was coming. And that was brutal. I do remember
they were known for that in high school soccer too back then. They were just like really tough to beat.
And then they
so that's
up, and they just he just run. That's all he would do.
Yeah. So then like, what's that like playing like? Because I'm thinking about like guys that I looked up to when I was playing, and you mentioned somebody like, you know, the Best Brothers or whatever. You know, I could rattle off guys that played on the '83 ODP team or the '82s. But as a girl playing with the guys. I mean, like, obviously you're probably seeing some of those guys too, but then you're still playing girls ODP. And like, who are you looking up to?
I mean, if you're asking me like role models, my role models were the guys on my brother's team. That's the only, I would go and watch them so much that's who I would.
So who are those players?
Oh gosh. Probably mostly that Iowa United team from Chad's year. So it was like Eric Brucing and Tom Barber and gosh, all those, there's so many. I mean,
no, that's fair. That's just curious to me, because like you think about that of like who sort of influences us especially at those ages when there weren't a lot of, I mean, it's not like you were watching pro guys. It was people that were local. That was about as good as it was going to get.
Yep.
Absolutely. Talk about the coaches.
There were probably not
Sorry, Ben.
Yeah, no, I was just saying there probably weren't a lot of other young, like successful female players to see as, you know, as for you. So, you know, I mean, maybe there's a few, but.
I mean, I played high school still, and high school was fun. I guess I got to, there's not too many. There weren't, I mean, women's soccer, back in Iowa at that time just wasn't.
Yeah.
I mean, you had Liza Barber, who went and played, I think in Chicago, maybe. Just because there wasn't a really good girls team here. Nikki Thaden's team was probably the best one to come out the year below. So it wasn't an option for me.
Right. I mean, I know who some of your coaches were, but talk about some of the coaches that, well, you know, Blake, that was what Blake wanted to know. Talk about the coaches.
So starting out with Iowa United, I had Jeff and Mickey Chavans.
Jeff Chavans. One of the best.
And then Urbandale Freedom was Tim Pearson. And then brought on like Gary Isles and Ozzie. Those were our two pro coaches.
Gary Isles we had to push him. We were going to schedule him, and we had to push him back because you took his spot. And so he wanted to make sure to give you a hard time.
Big time than I am. You should have done that one first. That would have been better for you guys, for your podcast.
Oh, it'll be good. So then how did, you know, talk about the recruiting process a little bit, and like how you actually, you know, basically got out of Des Moines.
So I went and played for this team first I started in Wilmington, North Carolina, played for this team, just guested with them for a couple tournaments down there. And then some of those girls moved.
How did you find them?
So Chad played for the Wilmington Hammerheads, and the goalkeeper for that team was the coach of this Wilmington team. So I would come down and see Chad once a year. And I think a couple times I'd just go out and train maybe. And Scott was the coach, Scott Schweitzer. And he just said, could you just come and guest play? And so I went to the Orange Classic down in Florida. And he moved to Charlotte, and he brought me, and there was a very wealthy family, I think, it was Charlotte Soccer Club at the time, that would fly me out there. So it was for big games, for State Cup, and then for tournaments. And that was it. So I was able to finally send letters and say, I'll be at this tournament. So that's when I was finally starting to get recruited.
You were on like the regional team on ODP and everything as well. I don't know, just ODP. I don't know how I'd be interested to know like how it is out in Colorado, and then you've kind of been a few places. I think it's fair to say it's definitely evolved and changed since we were in it. But to be like an Iowa girl on the regional team was not common.
No, not at all. And I mean, to be honest, the ODP back in the day, I think, was the premier program. Like if you were the best of the best, that's where you went. You were on a state team, you were on regional team. Nowadays, they've got the DA, they've got ECNL. People opt out of ODP which is, I don't even think it's called ODP here in Region 3. But they opt out of it because it's not worth it. They get seen more going to DA events and ECNL events. So, but yeah, Iowa, there weren't that many of us. I think Liza and I were the only 83s. I know of that. I don't know too many prior that were a part of that regional team as well.
Yeah, you're kind of paving the way. It's pretty cool to think about, and crazy to think that like at that time it was, you know, you sort of hit on, you know, yourself and Liza and kind of Nikki, and there's probably a couple other girls on that Odyssey team that were up there. But then, like now you've got, like, you know, we're at least in Central Iowa, like pretty regularly, we're producing some pretty strong young women that, I mean, Meg Brandt went on and has been playing with the U23 national team, I think. Is that right, Steves?
I think so. Yeah. Captain them or something.
Yeah. So just interesting to think that like that never, like, you know, like what you guys were doing at the time was just so unique and like just paving the way, whether you think so or not.
Yep. No, that was definitely out of the norm to have anyone from Iowa do anything when it came to anything regionally or nationally, for sure.
Talk about I'm go ahead, Ben. Sorry.
No, you're good.
I'm interested. It may not be that Ben's got something better, but who'd you get recruited by? Where'd you go to school, or what schools did you visit?
So I did my official visits at College of Charleston, UNC-Charlotte, DePaul in Chicago.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah, no, that was interesting. The only, I knew the coach there, and he helped out with the regional team. And so that was part of the reason that I wanted to go there. But part of their field was a softball field. So literally they had like gravel as half of their field. It was very strange. It wasn't the environment.
We played there one year, Courtney, and like the train is right there. And then like they have a mat, like you said, the mat, there's like a mat because there's a brick wall that's not even like a foot off of the sideline. And like they had like a mat to cover it.
Yep. No, I liked everything about the school. I liked the coach. I liked the girls, but just the environment itself was not for me. But College of Charleston was a very close second, and I decided on UNC-Charlotte at the end of the day. Was close to Chad. I could always see him whenever I needed to, and kind of felt like home. And yeah, and then I transferred. So I went through the whole recruiting process twice. And the second time around was, again, College of Charleston was still in there, and then Tennessee and Auburn, and ended up choosing Auburn.
Well, don't skip over your freshman year. That's like, it's hilarious. Like you type it in, Ben, right? You type in Courtney Crandell and all it just is, do you remember how many goals you scored your freshman year? Was it like 20 something?
No, I don't. It was 20 something, I think. It was.
That's unheard of, by the way. That is absolutely unbelievable.
I had a wager going with one of the baseball guys, and he says, either you average a goal a game, and I have to average 400. I have to bat 400 or above or something. And I guess that's unheard of in baseball. I don't know if that's true or not.
That's pretty good.
So I know that I got average a goal a game because I did win that. I won that bet, but I don't know.
What's the most goals you scored in a college soccer game? 3.
Never scored more than 3. But I had a really good, that was against Marquette, where that was a bittersweet one because I wanted to go to Marquette. I emailed them many times and they said no, and scored that hat trick. That was a good feeling one. It was a good game. Yeah.
Well, you're if I remember correctly, a pretty competitive person. So like how much of that sort of fuel, it sounds like that fueled you to a goal a game potentially. What was your UNC team pretty good as well?
So that year, my freshman year, it was kind of a perfect storm. I'm sure you've had those. I'll bet you've had those teams where you've got kind of every puzzle piece you need. Were we the best team? No way, not even close. We showed like we were, but if you looked at talent, like we were beating teams like Duke, teams that we never should have even been able to step on the field with, but we just had the right players in the right positions and just had a really fortunate season. Everything kind of just tipped our way. And
did you guys make an NCAA run?
We did. No. So we were 16-0-2 going into the championship, the Conference USA championship. We lost the Conference USA championship and then hosted NCAAs and lost to James Madison. We lost to James Madison 1-0.
Oh, he's a nice guy.
I think that's funny though. I've definitely there's a lot of times when you play on that team or you're a part of that team where like it's just like everything's going so perfectly great that then like somehow you just like blow up in the first round or whatever, and it's like it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Because you've been working so hard to get to that point, but you just have that one little blip on the radar. It hurts.
It hurts a lot.
What did that do to your sophomore year?
Well,
or is that when you already or did you transfer straight away?
No, so I ended up playing on a W League team that following summer after my freshman year. So I went through the spring and then played for the Hampton Roads Piranhas in Virginia Beach and ended up winning a national championship with them, going 12-0. Really, I mean, got to play with some of the best players that I've ever played with. And
so tell us about that quick.
So that was, man, I was 19, thinking I was 25. And so I had maybe a little bit too much fun and had a great
It's tough in those summer leagues though, because it's exactly I'm sure Blake had a similar experience in his summer league times as well.
I mean, yeah, it's just one of those things where you're around all older, like everyone was older. Everyone was over 21. I was the only one that wasn't 21. I shared a house with 9 girls.
That's awesome.
And it was one of those, again, perfect storm type teams. We just couldn't do anything wrong. I played with 2 girls that were on the Nigerian national team, probably the 2 best players that I've ever played with, who I think now one of them is the coach of the Nigerian women's national team.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. So very fortunate there. And then I came back to UNC-Charlotte and tore my groin and had some difficulty with the coach there. He wasn't very sympathetic or didn't really allow me to get better. I had to play through it. So he
wanted a goal game.
I guess, but that was a tough one. That was a tough season. There was a lot of hype. There was a lot of, Herman Trophy watch, all of that stuff. I think I was the runner up my freshman year for the Herman Trophy. So there's just a lot of like focus on like.
Did you go? Hold on a minute. Did you go to?
No, that's awesome.
I didn't either. Did you go to New York?
I did not. No. So the coach at UNC-Charlotte did. He went for me, I guess. I didn't even know what was going on.
Well, that was nice of him.
I've known better people in my lifetime, but I'm not saying anything bad about him. We have squashed everything, no problems, no water under the bridge. But yeah, that was Lindsay Tarpley came in first. She was at UNC. She smashed it that year too. So that was big time.
So was it during this time? When do you get like the national team interest or whatnot?
So that was after my freshman fall, and I went out to Chula Vista and trained for a week. And turns out it didn't. I thought I played well. I thought I did well. I thought that I don't know. thought it was a successful tryout, but at the end it wasn't enough. So, and that was really the only shot I think I got, because after I tore my groin, everything kind of went downhill from there.
Who were some of those other girls in camp?
Oh my, you're not going to get a name from me. I do not remember. I want to say that a lot of them, oh man.
So these aren't women that ended up representing us in a recent World Cup. So you just don't remember who was there, or you just don't know the women's national team players.
So I want to say it was like Lori Chalupny.
Well, we could probably, I mean, it's like birth year 84 and 85 players, right? That are
season 83.
83, 82, 81.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Yeah.
So like Nikki talked about Carly Lloyd.
Oh, she's
a fellow 84.
Yeah, no. You put Nikki on a different pedestal here. She basically played center mid with Carly Lloyd. I don't have any of those stories. There was no one that you'd be like, whoa, that's pretty sweet that you got to play. No, I didn't. I've nothing there.
Herman Trophy watch list. So
runner up, like that's a big deal.
Yeah, that's super. Did you get a trophy for that?
No. I got a pat on my back that said, you probably need to get fit again. That'd be great.
So then this is a good little like sort of side topic, because I know, like, I mean, all players always deal with stuff like this, but as somebody who, for all intents and purposes just had success and just been kind of going, then you like tear your groin. You said it was tough. Like talk about how that, talk about that.
So that was a learning experience more so, because I had never, other than when I broke my foot, back in 2000, which I was out for maybe 7 months or so, 6 or 7 months. Other than that, I'd never really gone through that adversity, and I'd never had to deal with it on my own. So this was the first one where a lot of the responsibility was on me to get rehabbed. Very different. I don't think I had the maturity level at the time to do the right thing. So I learned a lot there. I grew up a lot in trying to figure out basically priorities, and my priorities were not set very well. So I did things that I wanted to do versus things that I had to do and needed to do. So it was a learning experience altogether. If I could do it again, I would do it in a second.
Everybody has that, well, not everybody, but most injury people have that story that like I had an injury and it was tough.
Yeah.
Tough to stay the course.
Yeah.
So how long did it take you to get back to, did you end up playing again for UNCC, or did you?
I did. So I came back from this summer, not fit, didn't pass my fitness test, and then ended up tearing my groin and kind of hip flexor, both of those in preseason. And so coach was not happy and just kind of rehabbed and played through it. Started to get better as I just kind of continued to play and rehab and do all that. So I did play the fall of my sophomore year at UNC-Charlotte. We had an okay season. We made it to the conference tournament final and lost again. And I missed a PK to lose the game. That was an interesting lesson, I guess, or I don't know, learned a lot there as well. But yeah, no, we had a good run in conference tournament, but just couldn't pull it off. And then I transferred.
Did you ever take a penalty again in a big game?
I did. Yes, I absolutely did. At Auburn. Yeah.
Well, good. Did you make it or you missed it?
I did. I made, I don't think I missed another PK since that one. I think I can honestly say that I hit every single one since then.
Yeah, it's funny when you miss one in a big game, how it changes your, like, how important every single one is after that.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
How was the SEC? Is it because obviously that's a big, just money wise, right? You're playing now in the big conference. How was that?
The game was different. The game was faster. So playing with boys, I played faster. It forced me to. So when I got into a girls game, everything slowed down except for me. So it kind of made things a lot easier. I got to the SEC and it seemed that everybody was just as fast. So made it a lot harder, but I also got to play with really, really good players that basically just made me better, continued to make me better. And the competition was definitely, 100 times better. Just a different style of play. Girls were bigger, girls were faster. Definitely more competitive, I would say, in the SEC.
Did you enjoy your time there?
I did. That was the best.
That sounds like it'd be right up your alley.
Oh man, I loved Auburn. My recruiting trip was the Iron Bowl. Coach brought me in, Auburn, Alabama football game. You couldn't have, it was November. And I remember on my recruiting trip, all recruits get to go down on the field, and I got to be on the field. I had Bo Jackson standing next to me. It was probably one of the coolest experiences. And whoever goes to an Iron Bowl for their recruiting visit and doesn't say yes is crazy. That was probably one of the coolest experiences. So that was an easy one. It was a really good decision on my end, I think.
All right, so you played 2 more seasons there.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's the trick, especially at that time. It's not like there were really, like, was there a pro league at that point?
I wanted to say WUSA was up and going. I was done though. I was done playing. I was not burned out. I wouldn't say burned out, but I was just, my body was telling me that I was done. No more. So I went to coaching instead. So.
Okay. So so what'd you major in?
I was a double major in sociology and criminology. So there was a bunch of
criminologists, Steve.
I have a sociology degree too, Courtney.
Yeah, no. When you go,
he was interested in criminology, which blows my mind. Blake Siebers is a criminologist.
Is that right? Well, when you don't know what you want to do with your life and you're an athlete, they say, you know what, sociology or criminology would be a good one for you. So there were a lot of.
What did you learn in criminology?
Clearly not much.
I'm not going to lie to you. I wasn't a big school person. I went to class, but it wasn't really it wasn't a focus for me. I graduated though. So I got a diploma and that's all that matters.
A girl.
Yeah.
So then you got into coaching straight away?
I came back to Des Moines and volunteer assisted at
you were at Drake, right? Yeah. Who was Corbin still there? Or was it Lindsay?
Yeah. No, Corbin was there and Lindsay was the assistant. And I got to be there when Nikki was there. So that was
What's that?
I was there when Nikki was there. That was her senior year.
You guys must have loved each other. You guys must have gotten along great.
It wasn't even like a get along or not get along. It was hey, how's it going?
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. I bet you that was when I was trying to convince you to come play pickup, and clearly you wouldn't play.
I was very, very done. Yeah.
So have you played much since then?
I played, we used to play pickup all the time at the clubs that I was coaching at. In the middle of the day, you just stop, and we used to play small-sided pickup, and we still play some futsal here at FC Boulder. I haven't been in those games in a really long time, but yeah, I mean, I do it and then I regret it and then I stop. And then I'm sure in a couple of years I'll do it again and I'll regret it again. I don't know.
You got to stick with it. So I think that's funny though, that you don't want to play so much, but you jumped into coaching.
So those who can't play anymore teach, right? So I thought that was going to be the path that I was going to go down, and started at Drake. And then I got an opportunity out in Wilmington at Cape Fear Community College. And so I coached out there for a while under a friend of my brother's, a friend of Chad's. And then I got my first director job in Charlotte. So I went back to Charlotte. The executive director was actually one of the players at UNC-Charlotte when I was there. So I knew him. And yeah, from there, I was the girls director of coaching for 2.5 to 3 years, and then went to Castle, which was up in Raleigh, and which is now
like the club there, right?
It is the club. They're enormous now. They merged with the other huge club in Raleigh, and now they've got to be top 5 biggest clubs in the nation.
What's it called now then?
NCFC, North Carolina Football Club.
Yeah. Okay, that's right.
Yeah.
They have like a. Do they have like a pro level team?
Yep.
They won it, right?
The Courage. Yeah.
Oh, the tennis,
yeah.
The tennis just
saw that today.
I saw that too.
Yeah. I don't know the girl's name. I don't know her.
Japanese. She won like US Open and something else, and she's now one of the owners.
Yep.
Oh, gotcha.
Her name is.
Fair enough. So then, gosh, so now you're in Boulder. How's life out west?
I love it out here. It's been great. Ever since I moved out, it's been, I got on the admin side when I moved out here. So that's much better for me. Coaching definitely wasn't what I was supposed to be doing. So got on the admin side, and I like it a lot better. I'm more of the organization type than I am a director on the field all day long. So it's been great. Yeah.
Is that gonna change here in about 4 years when your son is a U6 and wants to start playing?
No. Nope. I will not coach. Carter will not be coached by his mother. I will tell you that right now. It's not going to happen. No. I'm going to sit on the sidelines and I'm going to enjoy those games. I'm going to keep my mouth shut. And yeah, I hope he doesn't.
I find that part hard to believe. I can't imagine him just keeping quiet the whole time.
She's going to be that mom, isn't she?
I am not. Carter's not going to play soccer, so it doesn't matter. He's going to play golf, or my fiance was a football player. So
do not let him play football.
Well, he's going to be a big boy. That's the thing.
So teach him the soccer.
He's going to be a big boy. He's not.
I know.
I don't think you understand. So he's not going to be a goalkeeper. So I don't know what else you can do.
How big you're telling us this kid's going to get?
I mean, Coulter's 6'5", probably 330. He's going to be a big boy.
I'm going to avoid a scrap with that guy, huh?
Yeah.
Where did he play football?
So he played all over the state. He started at Adams State. He had a little stint at CU. Tried to go up to Western for a while, but ended up back down in Adams State, down in Durango area. Kind of.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Alamosa, I guess. But yeah, no soccer for Carter, so I don't have to worry about it.
Why? I'm curious. Why do you say that?
Man, the problem is your podcast is about soccer and the positivity and optimism of youth soccer, adult soccer, whatever in Iowa.
Not necessarily the positivity no, not necessarily.
So
don't do that.
I stopped believing in youth soccer a long time ago.
We like people that don't believe in youth soccer. Let's talk about that.
Oh, good. So it has gotten to a point where I don't feel like the focus is in the right place anymore. It's a big business. It is, I don't know. It's not about the game anymore. It's about money, and it's about, I don't know. It's about what level you play. It's about what you can do for me, not what you can do for the team or for the club or for anything. It just stopped being about soccer, and it started being about what you can do and how good you are and really how much money you have. So
I think that last part's a big piece.
Mm-hmm. I do like FC Boulder in the fact that we give out more financial assistance than any other club in the state of Colorado. We have a lot of families on scholarship. So I do believe in that part. I think we do a really good job with that, but we still fall victim to all the same things. So
yeah, it's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough. I have a couple friends that are thinking about, they're going through that period of their life where they're like, I want to get back into coaching. Like, I think that's my passion. And I always am just kind of like, well, just be prepared to really, it's just gonna be like going to work anywhere else.
Yeah. Well, it's hard because you have to also, there's a lot more that you have to worry about. It's not just, when you're coaching, all that's going through your mind is, oh my God, don't touch this player. Like, don't touch their shoulder. You could touch somebody wrong and you have a lawsuit on your hands. It's all about who's making the bigger buck at the end of the day. And it's just a lot of, I don't know. It's tough. It's tough to get in. I know a lot of friends that are like, I'm just thinking about just taking a couple teams. And I'm like, just be careful, because at the end of the day, it's not about how good you are. It's about what you can get those players, where you can get them. And it's hard. It's really hard nowadays.
Yeah.
So
I get it.
Do you think, do you look back on your soccer career and, at least as a player, fondly, and has it helped you in your life? Has it been a positive thing? Or are you like, are you angry at it?
No, I'm not angry at all. I wouldn't give up the path that I went on for anything. It taught me a lot from club, being able to adapt to being the only girl on a boys team, to even college. I don't know who I was talking to. I was talking to a friend who played with me in college and was talking about, this was before I gave birth to Carter. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so nervous. Like, how bad is this going to be? And she's like, you went through college soccer. You're fine. Like, and it's a mentality thing. I think mentally I was very prepared for my adult life because of what you have to do to play 4 years of college soccer. I think that's a really big accomplishment. So I learned a lot. I learned a ton about myself and what I can actually do. It's all mentality. It's all mind over everything. So I liked my journey. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's great. You should.
Mm-hmm.
You should be proud of it. I didn't know all the details, but I don't know. I mean, you should definitely be proud of it and stop giving us the old that we're looking back fondly thing. So so one thing we like to ask some of our guests is sort of this when you coached, and I just think it'll be interesting to hear what you say compared to what you just said. When you coach, is it are you more of a development over winning, or winning over development? Because what we see a lot these days is just there's so much focus on development and playing style, and then they keep track of the score, but there's nobody's tracking the standings, and it doesn't matter if you win. It's just
Yeah.
I don't know. So I would just be curious what you think about that as a topic, knowing that you played to win for a long time, basically like all the time.
Yeah. So I struggled with that because at Castle, you win. Like you win as a coach, or you don't coach high level teams. So I was the younger girls director. So I was the top team coach on 2 different age groups underneath ECNL. So I'd never coached ECNL, but the problem I had is that mentally, I'm too sensitive. I think I can't bench a player if they come to training and they work. Even if they're not the player that's going to help me win, they're going to play because I feel like that's a learning situation.
What age did you say?
So I coached.
This is 12s.
Yeah. So U12, U13. And then I've coached every age group in my 9 or 10 years of coaching. So I've seen every age group, but it's different. I think it's different at Castle because it was an expectation to win. And I was more of a technical, have a good touch, be able to play the game versus being able to see the game at that time. And I took that with me, and it's not what US soccer is about anymore. The technical side of the game has kind of gone by the wayside, and it's a lot of just playing. And it wasn't the type of coach that I was. So I am more of a development than a win at all cost coach. I was.
That's fair.
Yeah. But I believe in that. That's why I believed in the, if you don't have a first touch, how are you going to play soccer? And there were a lot of girls that were on higher teams that couldn't because they didn't care. It was how fast you were or how strong you were, how big you were, versus actual soccer players. So
one coach that you didn't mention is somebody that we were texting about earlier, one of your local guys. And it makes me wonder, like, how on earth were you like going? Because I definitely remember like striking balls with you in high school with Kennedy, but like, why were you hanging out with Kennedy? Like, because I was definitely hanging out with Kennedy because he was one of my like coaches, and he'd be like, "Come strike balls." What is he? I mean, he's like the nicest guy ever, right? He's like literally bringing you down to just strike balls with him.
Yeah. So he never coached me. He was never a coach of any team that I was on, but I think he coached Chad. He was a good friend of the family.
There you go.
I don't know. He was always around. We were very close because we spent so much time together, and he would always offer. He trained me. Let's see, it would have been the summer. Oh, I don't even know what summer. He ran the crap out of me over one summer. And I think it was the only time that I ever passed a fitness test. I'm not a fitness person. I don't run. I don't like running. But he took the time to do all of my summer fitness. And he's just that guy. You can't find a better human being that will do something so selfless. Nothing's for him. He doesn't do anything for himself, which is hard to find nowadays, I think.
Yeah. So many players have spent just time just like striking balls with him, or goalkeepers just getting like whatever, work to the bone.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I remember, like, this is weird, but we had to be somewhere in like early high school, late middle school, something at Aliber. And obviously that's where we played for Iowa United, but you were definitely not this is when you were playing with Freedom. But like, I just remember, like, I think maybe the first time I was like, oh, who is this? And like, you could just hit a ball and it just dipped time after time after time.
Yeah. Kennedy used to just like, he would just gloat about how well you stroked the ball. He'd be like, oh, she can just absolutely smash it.
So
put it wherever she wants.
I don't know how, like, I remember that. And I used to strike balls all the time just to do that. And I don't know how I did it. It's very weird. It just happened one day, and I couldn't tell you how. I don't know how. But Matt I probably used to hit over 300 balls with Matt on probably a weekly basis. So he's probably part of the reason, but I don't know how. I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to teach it.
I was hoping for a free lesson, Ben. She'd grab a ball and pop in the living room, and
you know that I would hit a ball now and I would rip my hamstring, my quad. There would be so many muscles that would just fall off my body. I can't.
Don't worry, Courtney. You're not going to teach Blake how to strike a ball anyway.
Not buying it.
Wow.
Oh, well, so that was the other thing, Steves. What about should we get her top 5?
Yeah.
Her 5-a-side team. So have you seen our mini pitch project that we've been doing?
Mm-mm.
You're gonna have to Google that. Courtney, you're really failing the test today. We'll send you. So this is one of our projects. So we want to know your best 5-a-side team. Who's your 5-a-side team that you're going to pick to play? You have to be in the team, and they have to be Iowa-based, like Iowa players. So, like, for example, you could pick Scotty Pearson to play in goal if you actually thought that Scotty should be the guy.
Wait, now or like in their prime?
Well, you're prime for sure. Yeah, you're
okay,
not. I mean,
thank you. Okay.
Because none of us would be on our own team if it was currently.
Yeah. Oh man. So here's my question. You two are both staring at me right now. Do I have to put the 2 of you on my team?
No, we don't want to be in the team unless for some reason you think that you want like a mean defender or a sort of like half-ass versatile player.
That's what you consider yourself, Ben?
Like half-ass, a full ass.
Oh man. The goalkeeper's easy. I would definitely put Mark Moderson would be my goalkeeper, hands down.
Ooh, okay.
Oh man.
That's interesting tactic-wise because you get some people that play with like a sweeper keeper because it's like futsal. You'll go full goalkeeper.
No, I would no, that's not even in question. I think I would definitely have full-time goalkeeper Mark Moderson. He's
a big boy. He would take up one of those little goals.
I'm good with that. Oh, this is small side. Can you explain this?
Yeah.
This is
5-a-side, like 5-a-side, like futsal. Call it futsal.
I'm going to have to drop him off my team.
Oh,
wow. Because, you put him on an 11-a-side goal. There's no one here. Oh,
sure.
5-a-side.
Sorry, Mark.
This. I want to say, sorry, Mark. I really am sorry. So I would say Chad Crandell, number 1. I would say, oh man, I'm going to go with Matt Nickel. I used to think he was probably one of the better players.
So you're running up top with Nickel.
I forgot him on the team, aren't I?
Cut Nickel.
Yeah, cut him. Yeah, cut another one.
Cut him.
Let everybody run. To be honest.
Cut him.
No, he would definitely be on there. Oh man, this is tough. I'm trying to think of even older, even someone like Nick Olivencia. He was so good. I remember watching him play.
She's loading up with attackers, isn't she?
Yeah, so and no goalkeeper yet.
We don't
Mark's
need a
been cut for nobody.
I've seen Nickel play goalkeeper a few times recently, Courtney, and I can tell you don't want him there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Sweeper keeper? No?
No, just let him kick it at the goal hard.
Okay. Man, this is really this is harder than I thought.
So you're picking Chad over Josh, and Josh doesn't make it.
Well, if this is small-sided, so Josh he's all about speed. We put him on the outside and just let him run. So in small-sided, you can't really.
You can pick 11-a-side if you want, but it seems like that might be a challenge for you.
We'd be here all day.
You don't have enough hours in the day for me to do that. So let's not. Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely picking Chad over Josh for small-sided. Work rate. Chad's the hardest worker I've ever seen on a soccer field.
Okay, so she got one selection. So Chad's in the middle. He's going to run the show in the middle, pull the strings. Courtney's up top, banging the goals. Alvincia and Nicola are running beside you. It's like a three-pronged attack.
We're going to do a 1-1-3. That sounds good to me. Yeah.
Okay. So who's your goalkeeper?
Do I have to have a goalkeeper? Because now you guys made me feel stupid for Mark Moterson.
No, not stupid. Just tactics.
Yeah, everybody's got a different opinion. So is that 5 or is that 4?
Is that 4?
4, so we need one more. So who's going to be Chad, like your Nick?
Oh, man.
I have all sorts of comments I could be making right now, but I'm just biting my tongue,
I would
Courtney.
really love for your comments, to be honest. I really would.
Well, you know, like you've mentioned just sort of your love for Nikki Thaden. Seems like that might be a place to go. Or like you haven't named another female player, I guess, is my question.
Oh, guys, that made me a bad person. I guess it does, doesn't it?
No, it doesn't at all. I'm just curious because I would have thought there was, you know, or maybe give Liza a shout.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It just some thoughts. I mean, you know, and there are two like super good looking guys just staring you down right now. Like
I know this is difficult. This isn't necessary right now. This is a lot of pressure. I just started sweating. Is that normal?
While you do this too, let's introduce this, Ben, since we know a lot of like former coaches. Who's going to be your coach? We know as well.
The coach, man, I mean, since we already have a shout out for him, it's got to be Matt Kennedy. I can't think of another.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Some of those old Urbandale boys are not going to be happy.
You know what? That is what it is. I can't even tell you one Urbandale boy that I speak to at this point in my life. But not to say that I wouldn't want to. But gosh, that 5th one's going to be tough. Can I split the 2 of you in half and just make one person? That would be my final one.
Well, you don't want Ben's left foot.
I'll bet Ben's left foot is better than some people's right.
Oh, compliments are coming for you now, Ben. I don't know if we've lost your bracket or what.
Uh-oh.
Oh, he did. All right, let me hold on a second, Courtney.
Okay.
Fortunate.
You
Ben,
didn't hear my compliment? Dang it.
No. Sorry. Good. It's probably better that way.
Man. All right.
So are we going to try and save it, Sievers? Or, I mean, we're just going to kind of splice them together.
It's recorded. She has not picked her 5th one yet. And or did you leave because she didn't pick both?
I was pissed. I was pissed she hadn't picked you. No, I don't know what happened.
No, I said if I could just combine the 2 of you into one person, that would be my 5th one. Is that possible?
Oof.
Just you guys don't quit. You just stop staring at me. That would be nice. Yeah. What are some other ones? Can I ask what are some other ones that people choose? I need like
it always depends on like who you played with, or I mean, I don't know. Sievers, you want to give your top 5? Like who's your favorite? Who's your crew?
Oh man. I don't even know if there's like a goalkeeper that I would pick. Like who are you know what I mean? Like the options.
Yeah, it'd be a tough
Dave or Chris Hanlon.
Oh,
I mean, you could pop Dave Hanlon. Dave Hanlon in goal would in a 5-a-side would be. You would have played with Hanlon too. Like he would have been around, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he was. Was he older than me though? I know Chris was. Chris was a coach when I was around there.
That's correct.
I don't remember if Dave. I want to feel like Dave is older.
Dave was 83, I think, maybe.
Oh,
he was, yeah. Yeah, he was a little.
Yeah, but you got
a little tricky
Billy
to score back then.
Billy Scott could have played.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so I mean, it looks like they're just going to play 4-on-5 is what it sounds like.
4-45. Well, they're going to score loads of goals, so there's not an issue.
I mean, you could also go back with your first pick and stick with Mark and just know that you're going to have somebody that's impossible to score on.
I mean, that's very true. I can also do. I should pick a team that is a team that I should have picked. This is always my problem is I pick something and I'm like, oh, it's not what I should have said. I should have gone this way. I should have picked Nikki Thaden. I should have picked Liza. It should be a team full of women empowerment.
Well, not necessarily.
No, I get it. I should have. That my role as a woman, I should have done that. You're right.
You set it up for her, Ben.
You did. You set
tried.
Failure.
So we're just gonna give up on this, Courtney? Is that what we're doing? It's okay if we're giving up on it.
I would love for you to give me some options here, Ben. What are your 5? Because
you want my top 5?
Yeah.
If I'm going all Iowa players, guys that I've played with over the years, Sievers is definitely in there because I'd love to play with Blake. Like I just love to.
We scored a couple goals on the weekend, didn't we?
We did. We played together this last weekend. We were wavelengths. We played together for a long time, so I always love playing with Blake. And we can always get into a little scrap together. I always enjoy that with Blake. And then I would probably, again, Iowa guys, I'd probably go McGeaney, Justin McGeaney up top, just like banging in the goals. That's tough.
I mean, Richie Hurd was a good little futsal guy. I mean,
Richie Hurd would have been a good one.
Technical in there.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm trying to think. I would include Nikki Thaden in my team.
You would. Yeah.
I would. Yeah, I love to play with Nikki.
Yep.
And if you're giving me Nickel in his, well, no, because I've got McGeaney. No, I'll take McGeaney over Nickel all day. Sorry, Nickel, I love you, but 5-a-side, McGeaney would be just untouchable. So I just got to pick one more. I would probably go again with people that I just like have loved to play with over the years. Iowa guys. Oh, here's a shout, Siebes. I would love in 5-a-side a Nate Wall in the back.
Oh my gosh.
Remember Nate Wall?
From the past.
That would love. I'm just trying to think of guys I like love to play with and love playing with Nate Wall, even though sometimes he was good for a really stupid red card. Sievers is good for one of those.
Yeah, there's the Johnston boy, Shane Wilson. Like he was a Freedom guy. He was always good for a like a stupid red card.
Not even a good one. No, he would just go in 2-foot people. It just no problem. Walk off.
Sievers Johnson Dragons back in the day were known.
That's what I mean. We definitely had some silliness there.
Man,
I just ripped off a 5-a-side team and I included a female.
Well, okay, so here's I should probably listen.
Notice who I didn't pick too. No Courtney Crandell in my 5.
Oh, that's okay. No, I'm in full support of that. But if you're talking about players that I've played with, you're talking about a 5-a-side, and I'm going by probably Freedom alone. That's a whole different ballgame because I would definitely take like an Andrew Best as a sweeper keeper, as a defender. And I would take definitely Richie Hurd up top. Yeah.
Goal machine.
Absolutely. And you're probably,
Theo Hodges.
Theo was really good, right? He was good, but he was a really tiny center mid he was fun to play with. He really was.
So just randomly, Theo Hodges shout out. I bumped into him in a grocery store in Rhode Island when I was in college, and he was going to school out there, and we just literally like passed each other in the aisle, and we both like after 5 steps like turned around, and he was like, Ben Brackett, and I was like, Theo Hodges. It was hilarious. And that's the end of my story, but
it was a good one.
Yeah,
thank you. That was a good one.
There was
I want to give a shout out to, I believe he was one of the better lefties that I played with, was Nick Sullivan.
Ironic timing, that is.
Why?
We're going to see him later today.
Are you? Was he a lefty?
Yeah. Oh, well, we're definitely going to find that out.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I want to say he's a right-footed player, but.
Oh, great. Great. Gosh.
Well,
you've had it.
So is this your final answer? Your final answer. You've got Nick Olivencia.
Nope. I got to take away because now you just mentioned 5 people that you've played with. I didn't play with any of those guys. but I will say that I will probably stick with the Andrew Best in the back with Chad. I'm gonna definitely go Chad Crandell. You can't go better than that. And I'll go Richie Hurd for sure. And man, one more. It's a tough one.
You've got one defender, a couple attackers, a midfielder, probably another defender.
Another defender?
Yeah. No, maybe not.
That's tough.
All right, you guys are playing 4-on-5. It's settled.
Yeah, sorry. I'm struggling to think of players. My brain just doesn't quite function much anymore.
Well, so how's whoa, Stevers.
Sorry.
So now motherhood. How's motherhood? Give us a quick rundown on motherhood, and then we've probably kept it too long anyway. So,
motherhood is the best thing that has ever happened in my whole life. This is the biggest accomplishment that I've ever, biggest accomplishment in my life to date. I was meant to be a mother. I can tell you that. Coolest experience. I've got the best father to do this with. And Carter is an absolute dream. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't change it for anything. I wouldn't change anything about it. Being the pandemic, I'm able to see him every day, all day. It's definitely a blessing in disguise for sure that I get to stay home and watch his every milestone and all that. So coolest thing in the world is being a mom for sure.
Awesome answer.
So, I also will find it hard to believe you don't ever coach him.
I can't do it. I don't think I'll be able to do it.
We'll see.
I really don't.
We'll see. Well, so then make sure that you say what's up the next time you're in Des Moines. If that ever happens, I don't know do your family still live? Well, Josh does, so you'll come back at some point.
Yeah, my parents live there. I come back. We come back every other Christmas, and we're back probably a couple times a year.
Okay. We'll make it happen, and we'll be able to tell you we told you so here in about 4 or 5 years.
First of all, are you really not gonna tell me who you talked to?
You mentioned his name. Let's put it that way.
Who is it?
Luckily for you, you mentioned his name.
You did mention his name, but you did not put him in your 5-side team. His father was the coach of your team.
Oh, you did talk to Scott. Was it Scott Pearson?
Of course. Yeah.
How's he doing? I haven't talked to him in a long time.
He's great. Last time I saw him, he was doing well. He's got himself a couple of kiddos, and
yeah, I see pictures on Facebook. They are adorable.
Yeah, he came to our little golf outing last year, didn't he? Was it last year?
Yeah. The Freedom boys were lingering and just like gambling.
Good for them.
Yeah.
Good
They're
people.
having fun though. Yeah.
Always do.
Yeah. So just make sure that you check in the next time you're back.
I will.
We'll be able to tell you we told you so. We really appreciate you taking the time to chat with us.
Hey, thank you guys. This was fun. I'd do it again in a second. Not that you'd want me, but I'm just saying.
Ooh, okay. Yeah. Well, we'll just know if we're in a pinch, we'll just we'll hit you up.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Courtney.
All right, we'll talk to you guys soon. See ya.
Yeah.
Bye.
All right, Steves, that was fun. Good chat in the books with Courtney. A lot of good name dropping.
It was fun. I mean, I haven't talked to her in probably, close to 15 years. So it was good catching up, and she's doing well. And again, another humble guest because, to me, not even arguably, being on the Herman Trophy runner-up and on a watch list, that's like the Heisman Trophy of college soccer for those that don't know. That's a massive accomplishment, I think.
Yeah, 100%. Not something that very many people are thinking about, let alone doing. I think the coolest part about it for her too is, she just showed up ready to work hard and just started banging in goals.
Yeah, definitely a great goal scorer, ball striker. Overall, just a really good player.
Yeah, right on. And obviously a good human as well. Good chat. Hopefully some of our our friends that are also former Urbandale Freedom players will enjoy this. That they were giving us a hard time that we hadn't given them a shout. So.
Yeah, again, slide into the DMs. Our last few episodes, we've been getting quite a bit of feedback, so keep that coming.
Yeah, and to be fair, what we really have started, if people have suggestions or ideas for people to chat with, we're taking them. So let us know if you got any great ideas, and we'll just we'll keep enjoying our weekly chats with you all.
Yep. So here's the shameless plug. Join the Supporters Club. Get on a newsletter. Get access to pods directly via email. Follow us on Facebook at KIF Soccer, Twitter, KIF_soccer, Instagram, KIF Soccer, YouTube.
And our new website. Don't forget the new website.
Saving the last for best. Best for last.
Last for last. Yes, good, Steve. Good.
Yeah. KIFsoccer.com.
Yeah, right on. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. I thought you were going to skip the website, though.
I was on a roll. Like, boom, boom, boom.
Have you been practicing? Sounds like it. You've been kind of looking in the mirror and just rattling them off. Practicing in the morning.
I was, but I may have to start practicing getting interrupted now, too. So, I don't know. We'll see. Ben, you want to leave the listeners with any last thoughts?
No. I'm sorry for interrupting you, Blake.
All right. Talk to you next week.
Sounds good.